from that, we are going to look at the storyline relating to 5 subtle elements. Also going to understand the power of word, Vak Devi, the power of words. So we have a very intense session coming up. It comes from truth. The power comes from knowledge. The power comes from non-material or the existential points, tangents that we always look up to. Very difficult for us to do when we close the eyes, of course, we start drooping a little bit. Power of Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is not just closing the eyes, it's closing the physical form of the eye and also using the third eye to be ever awake. Of Vak, word or knowledge. 5 factors have been mentioned in the process of performing all the karmas, whatever actions. How do we do the actions? Described in great, describing a little more about the other manifestations, and very importantly, we are going to come. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Jai Shri Ram. Welcome back to the Clay Studios oil painting vlog number 23 of Sri Vishnu Sahasranamavali. This painting follows the principle of calligram or micrography to paint the 1000 names of Sri Vishnu. While the painting is coming up, the research work trying to understand the meanings behind these names. Also taking some tangential perspectives into Sanatana Dharma storylines, sometimes also taking the help of verses from Shrimad Bhagavad Gita or Shrimad Bhagavatam is what I'm trying to do in terms of this research, and I'm sharing the same with you on a weekly vlog. We have already covered names up to 210 in our previous videos. Please do check them out if you haven't done so, because in this video, though we are going to cover 10, they will definitely be interconnected in some way or the other with the previous videos, because these names are definitely thoroughly interconnected. All the time I'm referring to the videos that I have made previously, so please do check that out. 211 through 220 names is what we are going to cover in this session, and aside from that, we are going to look at the storyline relating to 5 subtle elements. What are they? In that context, we are also going to understand the power of word, Vak Devi, the power of word. So we have a very intense session coming up. Let's jump right away into the meanings first, starting with the 211th name, Om Dhamne Namaha. This refers to the supreme light. 212th name is Om Satyaya Namaha, one who is embodied as a virtue of truth specially. We have touched base on this topic that the power we talk about from the material context is not the power that relates to God. The power comes from truth. The power comes from knowledge. The power comes from non-material or the existential points, tangents that we always look up to. And this is the virtue here that is embodied in him. 213th name is Om Satya Parakramaya Namaha. Satya Parakramaya refers to one with unfailing valor, unfailing courage. The tremendous courage is what he is embodying, emphasizing. 214th name is Om Nimishaya Namaha, one whose eyelids are closed in the Yoga Nidra. In some of the artwork or some of the pictures that you will see that the eyes are also half closed in the god. Let's look at the next name and then come back to why this is. 215th name is Om Animishaya Namaha. It's the opposite of Nimishaya Namaha. What is that? One who is ever awake. So I have closed my eyes, but I am awake. It is very difficult for us to do when we close the eyes, of course, we start drooping a little bit. Power of Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is not just closing the eyes, it's closing the physical form of the eye and also using the third eye to be ever awake. If we connect the dots to these two names, that will be the meaning coming through. 216th name is Om Shragvine Namaha, one who has on him the necklace called Vaijayanti, which is strung with subtle aspects of 5 elements. The 5 subtle elements. So the necklace, so even the things that we look at the gods and goddesses, and it definitely shows that they are decked with gold and all the gems and jewels and such. I have now, through the process of painting, started to understand even those have deeper meaning. So it's not like to look pretty or look glamorous. Even the jewels have a deeper meaning to it. And this particular necklace that he wears is called Vaijayanti, and it is actually a symbol of the 5 subtle elements. What are they? We are going to look at in a short while from now. 217 is Om Vachaspataye Udaradiye Namaha. Such a long name. This means being the master of Vak, word or knowledge. He is called so. As his intellect perceives everything, he is also Udharidi. That is why both these epithets together constitute this one name. So the knowledge and the word, the power of this intellect, put in together, this combination what is emphasized here, and we will look at the power, the word also in a short while from now. 218th name is Om Agranye Namaha. This means one who leads all liberation seekers to the highest status. 219th name is Om Gramanye Namaha. One has the command over Bhutagrama or the collectivity of all beings. He has the command over the collectivity of all the beings. 220th name is Om Srimate Namaha. In this context, it means one more resplendent than everything. Sri is also, we talked about it in the previous videos, that it embodies all this abundance. So this is also, abundant on resplendent than everything. With that, we come to the close of the 10 names and meanings, but we are not really done because we want to understand the 5 subtle elements that he is decked with in the form of Vaijayanti. What exactly is that? And for that we will take the help of Bhagavad Gita. We are in Canto 18. We will look at 13 and 14 verses. So I'm going to read it out and let's look at the meaning. Canto 18 verse 13. Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Nibodame Sankhye Krutani Proktani Siddhaye Sarva Karmana. This means Pancha refers to 5. 5 these, O mighty armed one, Karnani Nibodame, causes just understand from me. Sankhye Krutante Proktani, in the Vedanta, in the conclusion said, so it's a concluding phrase also, I can see, Siddhaye Sarva Karmanam, for the perfection of all activities. Let's read out the meaning. In the Sankhya, which prescribes the means of neutralizing the action, 5 factors have been mentioned in the process of performing all the karmas, whatever actions. How do we do the actions? Described in great detail in this set of verses. And that is what you will hear from me, he says, meaning the God says. The next verse is pointing us to what these 5 subtle elements are. Let's read on. This is Bhagavad Gita, Canto 18, verse 14. Adisthanam tata karta karanam cha prutak vidam vividaha cha prutak cheshtaha devam cha eva atra panchamam. Adhisthana, the place, tata karta, also the worker. Point number 2. Place, worker or the doer. Karanam, instruments. Number 3. Cha, prutak, vidam, of different kinds. So the instruments can be of different kinds. Vividaha, cha, prutak, cheshtaha. Number 4. Various and separate endeavors, the efforts. Number 5. Devam cha eva atra panchamam. The supreme also certainly here is the 5th. Let's read it on here. So there are the seat of action and likewise the agent or the person, the doer, the various senses or can we call it instruments, and the different manifold efforts that you are taking, all the efforts, that is also there. Number 4. And the 5th will be Deva. So is it like God has to be present as the 5th element to get things going? Deva refers to the providence or latencies of past lives. That will be the 5th. So here the 5 elements, let's go one more time. Karta, is the doer, Karanam is the instrument, and it could be different types of instrument. How you do certain things could be different. Your work could be different than mine. The place, isn't it? That is Adhisthanam. That's the place. That's the third. Where are you doing the work? Cheshta is the effort. The different types of effort. The way you work and the way I work could be very different. But it's all effort. It is identified. And the most important fifth subtle element that is sitting in the jewel of Vaijayanti, that is sitting in the neck of Vishnu is, what is it? Deivam. That is referring to providence or Lord's sanction, his approval. The Supreme Soul, where is it sitting? Oh, I cannot see. The four elements, that's practical. Okay, you can say, yes, I know what it is, where it is, because I am doing the work and I know the instruments that I use. Whether I use a laptop, I use a knife to cut something like vegetables, for example, if I want to cook. All these things we are able to understand. The fifth element is a little, it's the most subtle element because it's completely invisible. Where is it? It is the Supreme Soul seated within the heart as the witness and the sanctioner. He is the witness. He is also the one that is approving. Yes, go ahead, do this. And he is approving. Without this, nothing can happen, or nothing can happen to the effect that it will give a positive result, maybe. So that is the meaning of this subtle elements, that is decked as a jewelry that you can see on Lord Vishnu. Now let's look at the power of word. We looked at the Vak and what exactly is this power of word, and I used the term Vak Devi. Devi refers to a feminine form. Why did I do that? Let's look at that. We also are going to take the help of Bhagavad Gita. This time we are going to be in Canto 10, verse 34. So this Canto 10, before we get started, Canto 10 is the very important canto where the God presents himself in the real actionable form only for a pair of eyes. Whose eyes is that? That is Arjuna's eyes, because he's persistent. I really want your real form, the way you are, whatever you are doing. So that form is now visible, and after being visible, he has, a clear understanding. And that understanding also comes with a few more conversational points where the God declares where all is he present, in what all can you see him. If you cannot see him in this form, in what else can you see him? And that's exactly the context of this canto number 10, and we are in 34. Let's read on. Mrityuh sarvaharaha cha aham udbhavah cha bhavishyatam kirtihi srihi vakcha narinam smritir Meda Dhritir Kshama, meaning Mrityu, death, Sarvaharaha Cha Aham, death, all endeavoring, also I am. He is talking about his power, but at the same time he is now moving into describing a little more about the other manifestations, and very importantly we are going to come to the Vak, the word manifestation. Let's look at that. Udbhavaha Cha Bhavishyatam, generation also of future manifestations. So I am in death, I am also in future manifestations. And what exactly is the manifestation that he is now going to talk about? Kritihi Srihi Vakcha Narinam. Among women I am. Nari refers to woman. Among women I am fame. Kirtihi, fame. Srihi, opulence. Vak, fine speech, beauty. Also Smritir, Meda, Dhritir, Kshama, memory, intelligence, firmness and patience. Let's just look at the true meaning behind it. So yes, he says that, of the endeavors in everything, I am death. Of that which is ever born, I will also be, making future manifestations. Of women, among the women, I am fame, opulence or beauty, fine speech, Vak, memory, intelligence, firmness and patience, forgiveness, Shama. So he is really mentioning a lot about the divine feminine. The literal meaning Narinam will take you to understanding as, okay, in women I am fame. In women you can see all these attributes as well, but in the true sense he is present as the Vak Devis. The Vak or the word is also in Sanatana Dharma depicted as 8 forms of Lakshmis or 8 forms of Devis that are giving you word, not necessarily in terms of being able to speak, word that will convert into action, and you can achieve material benefits as well as the first starting point. And you will see these 8 Vagdevis or 8, you can call it Ashtalakshmis, are standing for each and every be it diarrhea, to have the courage and valor, dhanya, being abundant in terms of food and health and wealth and progeny and all that. So she is in that form. So what is now being talked about as the power of word is that the power of word itself is defined as a divine feminine. So it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman or any gender for that matter. The Vak Devi is the divine feminine within you that is showing all these attributes in you. When you get fame, there is whenever there is opulence or beauty that people are admiring you for, when you make a fine speech decked with intelligence, people are able to realize that the intelligence, the firmness in your actions, your memory power, in the patience that you have, Shama, being able to forgive, in all these attributes, it's the Vak Devi, the divine feminine that is present. I hope you found it very interesting. Stay blessed, stay happy, stay motivated. Thank you. Bye-bye.